Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this morning I'm joined by Suzanne Smart, who is a trauma coach. She'll fill you in exactly what she does now. We're new to knowing each other, having met recently on an Intrabiz networking event. And this is a chat really just to get to know each other and see if we can help each other and to promote your business as well, Suzanne. So how are you doing today? You okay?
Doing absolutely fantastic today, yeah.
Yeah,
Sun
brilliant.
shining.
Lovely,
Gorgeous.
lovely. And tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in business.
Okay, so I am an abuse trauma coach. So my niche is narcissistic abuse, although I can, coach on any kind of abuse. There's work-related abuse, I can counsel on that, domestic abuse, but my actual niche is narcissism.
Okay, so that's when somebody is sort of quite cold and quite controlling
Yeah, yeah.
in a relationship. Yeah, so that's what you deal with the victims of that, if you like. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
obviously that I guess tends to be more women than men, but it can be both.
It can be both, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In a nutshell, somebody takes, if you think about when if you work for a corporation and you have a computer issue and you call up the IT and say, my computer's doing this, and he says, give me remote access. I'll give you a code, you put that code in, and then once you put the code in, you can see your mouse doing all kinds of things that you're not controlling it doing, somebody else is. In a nutshell, that's what narcissism is.
Okay, yeah. So
Taking
they
remote
get
control
into
of
the
someone
psyche and
else's.
take over the control of the person, if you like, and make them do
Yeah,
whatever they want them to do. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not something I've experienced too much of, but I'm into psychology, so I understand quite a lot of psychology and human behavior, if you like, because
Yeah,
I've been in sales and then sales management most of my life. So I think it's
lovely.
important to understand what makes people tick and all
Mm.
of that sort of thing. So I'm aware of a lot of these things, and I study the positive side of psychology, if you like, what makes winners winners and successful people
Mm-hmm.
success, etc. But I've got a sister who's a criminal psychologist, and so she studies the opposite end of the
The
scale,
other
if you
side.
like. She looks into the dark side of what the brain can
Yeah,
make people do, and I look at the upside, if you like. But
yeah.
I think being sort of into psychology is a big part of my family somehow. Like, it just seems
There
to
you
be.
go.
We like to study people. I think probably we've got high empathy and high emotional intelligence, I think, as a family. I
Yes,
think so.
absolutely.
That's where I think that comes from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, but a place I usually like to ask people about and start with usually in my chats is about lockdown. Obviously, it's not something that we can avoid. My podcast actually started in lockdown, and we're only
Mm.
just coming out of it now. So just wanted to know really how have you been affected by lockdown yourself, and have you done any particular pivoting in your business during that time to sort of
Um,
deal with it?
yeah, to be fair, lockdown's been very good to me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a free
You're a
spirit.
fellow lockdown thriver like myself then.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I was able to, because of not, having to go out, I was able to really focus on what I was doing and fully develop the program that I use now, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Didn't do
brilliant.
much in the waistline, but we're getting used to it. We're getting rid of that now.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I'm one of those ones as well who've exercised a lot during lockdown and not eaten a load from the fridge, because I've been used to working from home anyway for a long time. So I'm
Right.
used to the fact that my fridge is only by there and I can eat, when I want to. But actually that's
Yeah.
better for me, because when I used to work in corporate world, I used to eat,
Mm.
badly when I'm driving up and around the country to appointments,
Absolutely.
etc. Or I wouldn't eat at all in the day, just come home and have one massive meal.
Mm-hmm.
But now I eat when I'm hungry, and I only eat
Yeah.
what I need to eat because I know I can eat it the next time I'm hungry. If
Yeah.
you like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, I balance my food intake and my nutrition much better being at
Yeah.
home. And
Yeah.
in the lockdown, I've actually started exercising more because of the actual added time.
Yeah.
So in a way, I've lost a bit of weight and bulked up a bit because I've been doing weights and quite a lot of anaerobic exercises as well. And
Fantastic.
obviously, I'm into psychology. You're into helping people get over, psychological abuse, if you like, and
Mm-hmm.
exercise and fitness and whatever is a good part of that. You know,
It
feeling
really is,
strong.
yeah.
Yeah, feeling strong and healthy
Yeah,
will allow you to overcome a lot of psychological and physical challenges in life.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
So
yeah, well, as I got into things, I would just stop exercising less, you know. So
yeah,
I didn't go out for my. I tried to do at least 12,000 steps a day,
yeah.
and so I missed a few of those, and just missing a few of those told a story. So yeah, I'm back on track now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because I believe, well, I'm a Libra, and so I believe everything should be well balanced, and ultimately, you know, the reason I started exercising a lot more during lockdown is one, the time, but two, there's a killer virus out there. So, you know, if ever there's an incentive to get fit and get your immune system up to
Absolutely.
top performance, then when there's a killer virus, is about as good a time as any, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So
Oh
yeah,
my
so it sounds
God.
like you've been doing similar to me, creating a lot of stuff, you know, reflecting, creating,
Yeah,
and just getting busy, being active, etc.
absolutely.
And then obviously I've seen you more recently join the network that I've been a member of for a
Mhm.
long time, like 9 years. I think I'm the longest standing member.
Oh
And
my
you,
God.
yeah. So you've joined the network recently. So I guess now you're ready to promote what you've been working on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know, like I said, I've spent the last 3 months just perfecting it, and made an awful lot of changes because I could have that focus on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's ready to roll.
Brilliant. And yeah, so I'm actually an award-winning networker. I won Network of the Year at Intrabiz the first time they give the
Exactly.
award, which was on their 10th anniversary, to 2018.
Mm.
And since then, I've been actually, since winning the Network of the Year award, which I think gives me the title of Wales's best networker, because Intrabiz is Wales's best network and biggest
Mm.
network, and I'm the best networker in the network, the first
There you
inaugural winner.
go.
So that's how my
King of
logic
the
works. The
castle.
best networking in Wales, and I've been
Yeah,
leveraging that to network around the UK for about 2 years since 2018.
fantastic.
But in the lockdown, I started networking online around the world, obviously with Intrabiz going more global as well. But also
Mm.
I've joined a network in Ireland that's got a lot of Irish entrepreneurs and then people from around the world. And I've done a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, on my podcast, got people from all over the world to chat with, which I connect with through Facebook and LinkedIn and that sort of thing. And I've
Mm.
been on a few international networking events as well. So yeah, I'm on a mission to become a global speaker. So you know, the more people I can connect with around the world on the planet, the more
Absolutely.
that's likely to happen. Like, you know.
Yeah, well, you're on your way, evidently.
Yeah, well, I'm working hard at it, and obviously, I guess your mission is to help as many people as possible overcome the challenges that
Absolutely.
they've been forced into, if you like, a lot
Yeah.
through bad relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people say to me when they ask me what I do, and I tell them, they go, "Oh my gosh, how do you sleep at night?" But it's not the ones you meet that makes you not sleep. It's the ones that you think are out there, and you may not ever get to.
Yeah,
That's the troubling bit. And
yeah,
through lockdown, it spiked. The lid's been lifted off an awful lot of um, bad experiences at the moment that people have been through.
yeah,
So, you've got the hashtag Me Too movement. There's a lot of movements going on right now related to abuse of some sort, be it
yeah.
physical, sexual, mental. There's an awful lot of lids opening and people
Yeah.
being found out. So, yeah, I feel an undercurrent, that
Yeah.
movement, just getting bigger now as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the world is becoming polarized and split, you know, and I think
Mm.
so lockdown is a time for people to reflect and change and add flexibility, for example, into their life and into the workplace. But it's
Mm.
also a time for some people to sort of um, put a bit of control back, you know. So there's some bosses, for example, trying to get everyone back into work because they don't like
Yeah.
they don't like the loss of control, if you like, you know,
Mm.
that
Mm.
home workers give them, etc. And there's also people that don't, you know, they can take over control and manage someone's life a lot more when they're fully in it, if you like, than when they were going to work all the time, and the person, the abused, if you like, would have, you know,
Yeah.
windows of freedom, if you like, or windows of
Right.
space and opportunity to be
Mm.
themselves and do what they want. But then, you know, now that's taken away. There's nowhere to run, if you like. You know, they're locked in a box with nowhere to go. Like, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, you're right
So, I
there.
mean, then that business has been actually busy for you. Is that, you know, have people been getting in touch with your new content and that?
I've had an awful lot of movement on kind of the connection side of things, and you know, being able to sit in on charities and on professionals panels, so that side of it's going really well. I've also been approached by a women's aid hostel to kind of educate some of their people in there, so you know, it's going on, and I've had a couple of clients as well. So yeah, it's the momentum is starting.
Yeah, good. And something which I teach, which actually would work well with us, if ever you get opportunities for other people to speak and motivate people on, I think, so something I believe in is building up your own self-esteem, your own confidence levels, because then you can go and do and achieve anything you want in life, because you have the confidence in your own ability, and you take responsibility for your own life, your own actions, to be able to do whatever you want in life. And actually, you know, probably a lot of what you teach is about that. It's about taking ownership of their life and not letting someone else, if you like, dominate them.
That's exactly it.
Actually, it's quite a good tie in there. And I like helping people with any type of problems, because ultimately, I think too many people give power and control to others. You know, like you help people in relationships where they've given their power or their control to a partner, or in a work environment to their boss. I actually think the vast majority of people give power over to the state. You know what I mean? They let the state control their life and tell them what to do, rather than take ownership for their own life and responsibility for their own circumstances. Like, you know? So it's all about building strength, isn't it? Building strength, building character, building self-esteem and confidence, so that people can, you know, not allow other people, other organizations, other bodies to dictate their lives for them, like, you know?
That's right. They get back in touch. What I do is show them a way to get back in touch with their intuition, which is your inner tutor, and to not think from your head, but to think from your heart, think from
like,
inside.
you know, from the gut, even, like, you know, which is where all of your experience and all of your, you know, nerve endings sort of culminate in order to give you that feeling, like, you know.
That's right. Yeah,
and
definitely. To you know, to just trust in themselves. My process is called positive imprint, and it's an anagram. So the sorry, not an anagram, an acronym. So the O in that is all about ownership and owning the past, owning their feelings, getting it all out. And
what is the acronym?
Positive imprint. So P.
Okay, so the whole that's a lot of things you're dealing with there then.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the positive side is about getting the self-confidence back, and then we have what we call the T zone, what I call my T zone. It's the trust zone. So trust in yourself, trust in others, trust in the process, because that's the one thing that people say that they cannot do afterwards. How do I trust other people? How do I trust myself to not get into the situation again? You know, to know that I am trusting my inner. So we do that. And then the imprint side, then, if that's another program again, and then that takes them from, once they're empowered, that takes, right, okay, the one thing that people do when they've gone through a life-changing experience is want to go out there and spread the word and help others. So we look at then how they can do that. So we go through the steps of what they need to do to go out and create, you know, a program, or, you know, volunteer, whatever, but put themselves out there.
Yeah, good. I come up with two acronyms, if you like, and two formulas myself during the lockdown. One's called SMART, which is a happiness formula, and the SMART stands for sleep, meditation, ability to perform, random acts of kindness, and targets. And ability to perform covers exercise, nutrition, and hydration. So it's sort of like the 7 steps really hidden within 5, because I wanted to be called SMART. So ability to perform covers 3 things.
There you go.
So it's a 7-step happiness formula. And then I also created a success formula, which I call streams, which is
Nice.
systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales. Which, if you do those things, you can become more successful in life.
Cracking.
So, and obviously, if you do this, the streams, the success stuff, but you don't look after the smarts, then it could be short-term success.
Yeah.
Because
No
you can burn
foundation.
out. But if you actually do the whole thing together, it's long-term success,
right.
which I would call elite business performance. You know, it's doing something successfully day in, day out for the rest of your life. Yeah.
That's it. It has to be a process. Life is a process. You don't go through, you know, even a coaching program and think, well, that's it now, I can do no more. No, you've got to keep going. It is that process.
It's a lifestyle change, isn't it? Like, you know, it's like if people really want to get fit and healthy, you know, it's no point dieting. It's no point going on a crash course or an exercise course or whatever. You have to look at, okay, how can I adapt things into my life? Maybe at a small point to start with, and then slightly bigger, slightly bigger, slightly bigger. So it takes over a bigger gap in your life. But, you know, small incremental changes. How do I add things to my life, which I have to keep consistent if I want to live a better life and be a fitter person or a healthier person, or in your case, a mentally fitter person or a mentally stronger person. Like, you know, it's a similar sort of thing. You know, if you work on small little incremental changes to their personality and the way they deal with situations, eventually those little changes over a long period of time add up to a massive change in a different person. So similar sort of stuff. Yeah, so we're working in a similar sort of areas, really, just slightly different reasons and different people and different focuses, like, you know, but there's a similar sort of processing, and you know, that's why I understand what you're doing, and I think it's great, and keep up the fantastic work, really.
Thank you.
And name. So I guess a lot of your clients then are third sector. You get contacted a lot by third sector and charities and that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I suppose your end user client, they wouldn't necessarily know to come to you, or whatever. They would go somewhere else first.
Not necessarily. A lot of people do realise that, you know, that they're carrying around this hurt. I've got one lady in her 60s, and she, you know, all this happened to her in her 20s and her 30s, and she realised that she's still carrying this around today, you know, and how it's impacted her life. She kind of, you know, reflected and how it's impacted. So, you know, she came to me. And
so she would be more though somebody out beyond it who's looking back and realises where she was, rather than someone in it, if you like.
In it. Exactly. Yeah.
The one in it are less likely to come to you, but more likely to maybe be seen by another association and advised, you know, brought within their organisation, and then they come to you. Whereas the ones who've maybe been through it, seen the other side, they actually don't need the help to get out of that situation, but they need the help to get mentally out of that situation, or to move on from that situation.
So
okay,
that's who I deal with more often than not, because to be fair, a lot of people that are actually in it don't realize they're in it. And until somebody realizes where they are, they can't change, I can't change, you know, their situation. They have to want to. So it's, you know, more often than not, once they've come out of that situation, and, you know, like you said, they reflect and realize and think, right, I can't, you know, you hit a brick wall when you're, a lot of people, they kind of leave the situation. They understand that they can't take any more, they leave. But then, because they haven't dealt with it, anytime they try and move on in life, they just hit a brick wall or that glass ceiling. So it's to help them get through that brick wall and that glass ceiling, and, you know, understand why they, that they feel the way they do, because everything is impacted inside. It's kind of like a golf ball. If you, when you were young, we used to take apart golf balls, and, you know, you've got that hard shell, and all the elastics inside, and that's what it's like. You've got the layers and layers and layers, you know, representing the elastic of all the fear, the hate, the anger, the shame, the self-loathing, all of that thing. And they wrap around each other, and then you know, it's like this hard crust in your heart. And unless you get rid of that by opening up everything, taking everything out and replacing that with love-based emotions, then you can move on, because you're in a love state, not in this constant flight and fight. flight or fight state, you know, with fear all the time. So we do that. So very first thing we do is open that Pandora's box of all the different emotions, all the little triggers that happen when, you know, it could be anything, a smell, a noise, car engine, anything like that, that sets off, and it is a physical
the
reaction.
memories of that control, like, you know.
Yeah. And as soon as you're in fear, you can't think straight. Somebody else has to think for you. So that,
And that,
you know,
that can be, you know, lots of people, to stop them going on and having successful lives, have self-limiting beliefs, you know, but maybe they're not good enough, you know, they're not strong enough, whatever. And so sometimes, you know, once you unwrap them and take out all of the negative sides and give them some self-love and self-worth, if you like, and whatever, that can be then a trigger and a catalyst for them to go on and live the life that they want to live then, rather than the one that they've held back from because of those limited beliefs and limited feelings, etc.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, how do people, organisations, and whatever get in touch with you if they're interested in sort of going through your coaching?
Right. Okay. My telephone number is 07504 398 790, and my email address is Suzanne, SUZANNE, at just-breathe, BREATHE.online. I'm in the process of having a website made, so those details will come up later. But
okay. All right, then I can always, if you send me the website at a later date, I can always add it to your episode details on my podcast and on the YouTube channel. You're based, you went to Fitzallen School, didn't you? So you're from Cardiff?
I do. I am from Cardiff,
I think you've seen it on your Facebook profile or something. So, so there we are. I remember playing them against in basketball when I used to go to Corpus Christi. So. Well,
I think it was Mostyn when I used to get it. It was still Mostyn. When I went to Fitzallen,
and so you're from Cardiff, and obviously who are the sort of people you like to meet when you go networking? Then I guess people from charities and CICs, and then just people, I suppose, when you meet business people, I suppose less of them are likely to become victims of narcissists because they're more in control of their lives, which is why they're entrepreneurs. But if they know anyone, or if they see any family or any friends or whatever, then they're the sort of people. Plus, obviously, HR people, I suppose, for if this happens in the workplace.
Workplace, absolutely.
Because the workplace, I've been in sales a lot, so there's a lot of narcissistic controlling people in that type of environment, high pressurized environment. I remember I used to have a boss who used to try and control a lot of people. Who used to try and control me, but I wouldn't stand it, and eventually I ended up leaving the company, like, you know, because I used to call him a lot of names under my tongue because I could see what he was doing, and then I used to start calling it to his face, and I thought this isn't a good environment long term to call your boss out on the characteristics he has. And the way he is, you know, and there's a lot of people will put up with it in the workplace, you know. I'm not one of them, but people do, you know, because of fear of you know, change and loss of job and whatever. Just the same as, I suppose, people put up with it in the relationship because of fear. A lot of the time is because of economic dependencies or whatever, stuck in a trap and not being able to make any choices, and the power getting less and less and less until the point where you're self-reliant completely on someone else, and it's hard to make a change, like, you know, because you know, it's too many other things to think of other than just ending a relationship, like, you know. So I suppose the more people can be empowered to not be financially dependent on others, and also to have, you know, stronger esteem and self-confidence and self-belief, the more everyone can be motivated and coached to be stronger people, the more that helps me put them onto a success path to achieve whatever success is to them. But the more it helps you as well, get them, you know, you're converting them and then turning them to me, really.
I love reciprocity. It's a beautiful law.
Exactly. So once you unwind them and get them sort of out of that negative sort of pathway, for them to me, and I can boost them up
Meet
into the
Mike.
positive pathway and
Yeah,
get them developing and moving on, because then they need to upskill in order to achieve the success that they want out of life.
exactly
You know?
that. Exactly that.
And
That's
that's what my
fantastic.
podcast does. So I got a lot of things on my podcast, which is all about, building mental strength, personal development, building inner belief, self-confidence, motivation, positivity, and then skills like networking, sales, marketing, entrepreneurship, social media, all skills which however successful you want to be in life and whatever success you want, you need to, a lot of people don't realize that even if you don't want business success, you still got to be good at sales and marketing.
I know.
You've got to be good at networking. Whatever success you want, the most people who are the best at whatever, whatever they've decided to do in life and are the best at it, is because they're good at relationship building, which is networking.
Yeah.
It's because they're good at sales and marketing. They're good at promoting themselves and building relationships with others and forging, negotiation deals, partnerships, whatever, leveraging relationships, which is sales, leveraging people and things and whatever to get on in life, So I think a lot of the people who end up, in your situation where they need help are probably because they don't have those natural skills and ability to be able to leverage relationships and other people. They lose those relationships, which if they had good relationships forged, and those relationships would stop them getting down the hole, because a lot of the time, the control takes place because they distance the person they're controlling from their family, their friends, their support structure, and all of that. Yeah, and then obviously, being able to sell and market and negotiate is, a lot of the time partners would stop themselves being overawed by a partner because they have the ability to negotiate and to leverage and to reason and whatever, but they lose that over time. So actually being able to sell and negotiate and all of that allows you to keep your strength and keep your equality in any relationship. Allows you to find the equal path, because to me sales is always about win-win relationships where both sides are equal. And being able to leverage that. So yeah, there's a lot of synergies there. So yeah.
There we go. So you fit into my eye then in imprint.
Yeah.
My
so
second eye.
What's the I stand for again?
Introductions.
Yeah.
You would fit into that. So who do you need to talk to, introduce yourselves to get out there and make your dream happen? Kind of thing,
definitely. Do you provide advice, because I think this would work well for you, do you provide advice as well on how to not get into those situations in the first place?
Yeah, preventive advice as well, absolutely.
Yeah, because that would be good to go around teaching to schools and stuff, colleges, schools.
That's it, yeah. That's on my list to dip into that.
Yeah, definitely, because
the preventive side as well.
Yeah, prevention's better than cure, and I think actually, things like telling people when they get into a relationship never to leave their friends, and to make sure that they don't just put everything into the partner, because that's when a lot of these things happen, isn't it? When they're isolated and sometimes narcissistic people can persuade their partners to break their relationships with their parents, break their relationships.
Yeah. And it's almost like water torture, a drip at a time. They're very, very calculating people, and they know what their outcome is. They start with the end in mind. So they've got, while you're, kind of in love,
just enjoying life and naive and going through the process, they're working on a sort of structural breakdown of your support mechanism. So you're hanging by all these support things, and they're going along cutting them one snip at a time, sort of thing.
And all you've got is them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but the research says that 1 in 3 people either have been or are suffering from abuse. So we all know somebody.
Yeah.
If you think of all the little bubbles that we have, the different friendship circles and stuff, we all know somebody that has either been through something or is going through abuse at the moment.
And have you met and spoken to Deb Morgan?
Yes.
Because she does relationship coaching, so I guess again
that's another avenue after me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was thinking. Some of the people that you might get introduced with or might deal with may have a more softer side of the abuse, where it's more communication and relationship issues rather than abuse, like, you know what I mean? So you might meet people who are maybe a little bit more her way than, you know, maybe more as communication and relationship issues rather than just pure abuse or narcissism. I suppose there's a rich cocktail of all of the different equations of this, you know. Relationships can get very complex and very, you know, very bespoke, I suppose, you know, lots, you know,
that's it. Everyone's different and everyone has a, you know, their own kind of experience. But so after me, they would go to Deb, and Deb will, you know, kind of coach them then on having a healthy relationship once they can trust again. So how do they then go and, you know, put that trust to good use?
Yeah, I suppose as well, because some of these things will spiral. So, you know, sometimes they might go into a good relationship after a bad one, but because of the way they haven't let go of the bad stuff, they're actually making the good relationship not so good.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
right.
that would be when, you know, because a lot of things they come back out in cycles, don't they? They come back, and sometimes abused can become abusers as well, because they've learned, you know, learning
those
habits off other people is, you know, people do absorb habits off other people, the ones they spend most time with. So sometimes they can end up, you know, giving what they got, like, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you've got to break the circle, haven't you? But yeah, so obviously outside of work and working with people with abuse and trauma and that sort of thing, what do you like to do? You know, when you're in your free time, sort of thing.
I like to walk. I do quite a lot of walking, socializing outside of lockdown, of course.
When you could.
When I could, and just spending time with people I love, really.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, are you still in Cardiff? Are you still based in Cardiff?
No, I'm based in Huddersfield.
Oh, Huddersfield now, are you? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you grew up in Cardiff and then moved out? Did you when
I
you?
did. Oh no, I've only been up here a couple of years now.
Oh, is it? How are you finding Yorkshire? Is it Yorkshire, Huddersfield?
Yeah. West Yorkshire. It's pretty. It's very much like Wales. Lots of greenery. Lots of places. Just go out and walk. But
I've been up to Huddersfield a few times. It's it's like in the Dales, isn't it? Like you said, you know, there's. I went to a place where you just keep driving up and up and up. So you go through the Dales and you just keep going up and up and up.
That's it, yeah.
I think I went to
West Yorkshire is moors, and then North Yorkshire is Dales.
Yeah. There's a lot of those old sort of grey cottages and stuff. There's a lot of old buildings and stuff.
The old stone,
yeah, very old school.
And that's the other thing that's very much like Wales as well, the old stone cottages, and there's a lot of mills up here, mills and mines up here, isn't it? So, you know, whereas in Wales it was mainly mines. So, you know, you've got the old miners' cottages up here, you have the old mill cottages. So it is very, very similar.
It's in Yorkshire people. I'm actually, my grandfather was from Yorkshire, so I've got a bit of Yorkshire in me. They're very direct and straight talking, aren't they?
Yeah, again, like the Welsh. Brilliant.
That's it. So I like Yorkshire people. I like Leeds, a nice part of the world. Harrogate, lovely part of the world as well. I quite like the north. The place. There's some lovely places up there, and there's and the people are just down to earth. You know, I find the Welsh people get on well with Yorkshire people. They get on well with Essex people. The real people.
Yeah, direct.
Yeah, Scousers, Liverpudlians.
Yeah.
Liverpudlians,
Gosh.
The people who are like, you know, straight talking, direct people, like, you know.
Yes.
That's who I find I always get on well with, people who like a drink and a laugh, like, you know.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Rather than down south, where people go,
a little bit more stuff. There's some nice people down south ways, but there's more nice people up the north. I think there's more genuine people, what I would call authentic people.
Yeah. Well, I've done both, because I lived in Luton and Dunstable for a while, and people would say, "You can't say that." Why not? It's true.
I say I got loads of English friends. I'm part English myself. Like my grandfather was from Yorkshire, though. A lot of Yorkshire people wouldn't say that in England anyway. They say they're in Yorkshire. because they love
This is
Yorkshire.
it.
Yorkshire people love Yorkshire, don't they? It's a bit like Cornwall or whatever. It's a bit like the Celtic-y bits of England. It's the bit where the original Celtic people and the original real people.
Yeah.
But yeah, in England they're a little bit more stuck up a lot of the time. They don't like to have. They're a bit more serious. They don't like to have as much of a laugh and a joke. But you know, like when I used to go up north, I'd give 2 hours for every appointment. When I went to London, I'd give an hour for every appointment when I was national. Because they're all rigid into a set time in London, whereas up north they'll keep giving you tea and they'll keep having a chat with you, like they do in Wales.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. So
Go to Asda for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think anywhere where they make tea, your meetings, you just never know how long they're going to be, because they just keep giving you tea and keep chatting. If tea's part of the culture, they like to chat and you'll just keep drinking.
It's so true.
Definitely. But yeah, I'm conscious you're actually on your holiday. I don't know if we mentioned that
Absolutely
on
fine.
the podcast or not, but I'm conscious you've got things to do. So I'm going to say thank you very much for coming on the podcast and having a chat with me and sharing a little bit about what you do. That's great. So thanks.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks ever so much. It's been great. Lovely speaking with you.
And now I know you. If I ever come across anyone who's who I think you should be connected with, then I'll do that. I actually, in addition to doing Intrabiz and a few other networks, I belong to a group called the Virtual Power Networking, which is a lot of online WhatsApp groups. And in there, they got people from lots of different niches and parts of the world, geographical areas, and all that sort of thing. So I can introduce you to Mark, who runs those groups. He's got like 150 groups on WhatsApp, and I'm guessing there will probably be one for either coaches or maybe people involved in mental health, maybe, which might be good for you because a lot of what you do is mental abuse, I suppose. And there may be some niche groups. I know they've got a virtual power woman networking group as well. So for women to females around the world to connect with, and there's a lot of coaches in there as well. So it's networking online, but via WhatsApp rather than Facebook or LinkedIn.
Oh, cracking!
So if you want an introduction to that, I can give you an introduction to that. Also, are you an Intrabiz member? Have you joined yet?
Yes, I have joined, yeah.
Because I've got an Intrabiz pod, a LinkedIn pod. I've got my own WhatsApp group, which I run the pod from. And what that basically means is we all post at 9 o'clock in the morning on LinkedIn, and then we copy the URL to the post, stick it into the WhatsApp group, and everyone goes on and likes and comments on the post.
Okay.
Yeah, which means that everyone gets to know what everyone else is doing much better because you see it every day, what they're talking about and what they're communicating. Plus also, if you get 10 likes or comments in the first hour, it helps the post go viral.
Right.
Because LinkedIn's got an algorithm on how it shares content, and it's based on engagement. So the more engagement a post gets early on, the more LinkedIn shares it to other people.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're actually helping each other grow each other's communications and businesses ultimately by using WhatsApp and LinkedIn and not just the online events. So I'll send you a link if you like on Messenger to the WhatsApp group where you can join. And then if you want to get into I don't know if you post a lot on LinkedIn or not, but if you don't, it's a good opportunity for you to get more consistent posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Posting on LinkedIn is one of the best ways at the moment on all socials for you to get organic reach. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's for you to get reach to lots of people without having to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I explained the language because not everyone understands the terminology. So I always explain it. But
no, that's fine.
But organic reach is the best because you haven't got to pay for it. Whereas Facebook and Instagram and all of those now, you tend to got to pay to get your posts reaching people.
The nose.
Yeah. Well, it's not too bad the cost, but it can be costly if you get it wrong as well. But
that's it.
But, I think just on that, a lot of people boost posts on Facebook, which doesn't work that well. If you're going to do something on Facebook, it's best to do paid for advertising.
Yeah.
But yeah, the LinkedIn is working well, and what a lot of the members are doing now is posting every day at 9 o'clock because of this pod. So it's getting them to get more consistent with their messaging and actually be more creative with their messaging and their content. So I know with me, I'm part of another LinkedIn pod as well, which does 2 o'clock. So I've got to post 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and then I've got to go on and like everyone else's content as well. It gets me using LinkedIn a lot more than I used to. That usually means something else got to go. So I've sacrificed something else. But it's all about, which one's going to get you the most reach, in marketing, which one's going to be seen by the most people, and that's what the LinkedIn pod will do. So I'll send you the information for that. And once we connect on WhatsApp, then if you want to be introduced to Mark, who runs a lot of these other WhatsApp groups, I can do that introduction, and then he'll let you know which groups are available, and you can join whichever ones you want to, if you want to connect with more people from around the world.
Fab. Fantastic.
All right,
thanks
great.
so much, Mike.
Yeah, brilliant. Have a great day, okay? Enjoy the rest of your holiday or your trip.
Yeah, we'll enjoy the sun. Thank you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Hello, and there's nothing else left for me to say other than have a great day. I know I will. And thanks very much for listening. Cheers. Bye-bye.